أم حسبت أن أصحاب الكهف والرقيم كانوا من آياتنا عجبا.
So let's dwell into a little bit of the historical, context of this surah. And I would say not only historical context, because there are a lot of stories which are mentioned in this surah. So I think let's give our audience a little bit of a brief of historical context, as well as the stories that are mentioned. So we'll start with, because when the Yahud came with those questions, so I think let's start from of course you need to.
There is a very interesting background, and we need to understand that everything is for a reason.
Absolutely.
There must be some reason for everything. There was a challenge which came to the people of Quraysh, the Kuffars.
Yeah.
Those infidels had a challenge in confronting the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, that he has what a special knowledge. We are like, we go in awe. We are stunned. Yeah. We don't have any reply.
Speechless. We can't answer.
Speechless.
We can't answer.
And one challenge was Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and the other challenge was Quran. The magnificent.
Yeah. Which was even challenging them by hanging on the walls of Kaaba.
Yes. So, and how to cope about this challenge? It was becoming very difficult for them. And there were people coming into the folds of Islam day and night, and the number was growing. So in that particular challenge, they thought our kingship or chieftainship or you can say,
our power is going to be challenged.
Yes.
Yeah,
our
basically.
power, which is they are clamping in Mecca, that is being threatened.
Yes.
So they thought about it, and they found a way. They sent emissary, 2 people from Mecca to Medina. The name was Yasrib in those times.
It was like the Eureka moment for them. Oh, we found the solution,
Eureka moment. And once they went there to ask certain question, a challenge which they can put across to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and he would not have any answer to that, because the Yahuds, the Bani Israelites, those were the people who remained amongst the prophets for hundreds of years.
They were the people of book.
Yes.
They were the people of knowledge.
Yes.
At that time, of course, these infidels, they would accept that Yahud are the only ones with knowledge.
Yes.
Yeah.
And they thought that Yahud, they have the touchstone to find out about the truth about the last prophet or the prophethood. They wanted to actually find out a way out. They wanted to have a way out of this challenge. They sent emissary. They went there and asked certain things, how we can cope up this challenge of the prophet.
Yeah. And they came up with those
and
3
we do
questions.
not have any reply to him, neither him nor to Quran. And they gave 3 questions. And all those 3 questions were very deep, very intriguing. All those questions. First question was, go and ask him about Ashab Al Kahf, people of the cave. Who were they, and where did they went and go to sleep? Number 2 question was about Zulkarnain. Who was the great traveler who went on towards both ends of the world? Remember this very important thing.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I mentioned it.
They asked the question about that great traveler who went
one pole to the other pole.
Yes.
So 2 journeys.
2 journeys.
By the way, viewers, this is why we are emphasizing this again, because this is going to come a little bit later.
Yes. This is very important. They asked about the great traveler who went on both sides of the world, both corners of the world. And the third question was about Ruh, the spirit.
Haza min amri Rabbi.
Yes. And that is very interesting, that one question out of those 3 questions, the response of that question about Ruh, it came in the Surah Bani Israel.
Yes, it's not in...
Allah highlighted the true face of the people who actually asked the question. While those that mystery came back and they asked the question, they did not tell that these are the questions from the Yahud.
Yeah. They were trying to play over clever. Yeah.
They projected that these are the 3 questions and these are for as a test of your prophethood. Just give us the answer to these questions. Allah revealed Surah Bani Israel, and in that there was answer to question number 3, that is about Ruh.
And the other 2 came here.
That connects these both surahs and also lift the veil from the face of the true culprits, the mischievous.
And there's one interesting aspect here, and Kalsam, I'm sure you'll define it better. That when these questions came, Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam was a little bit worried because for about 14 or 15 days, I think, no wahi came. I think that is
that is another aspect.
That is another aspect.
I will add,
Okay.
because people sometimes don't understand the wisdom behind that thing.
Exactly. That's why I mentioned this.
I will explain this thing. So,
because since we are talking about the historical
context also. So the 2 questions, the response to those questions came into Surah Al Kahf about the people of the cave as well as Zulkarnain. And there are certain other stories as well concerning our guidance for particularly this era of tribulation. So in that case, once they asked the question from all these 3 questions from Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, he replied that I will answer this question tomorrow.
Tomorrow, exactly.
And that
Allahu
tomorrow
Akbar.
never came.
Allahu Akbar.
Day passed and it was a matter of jest. You can imagine what is going to happen. What was the feeling of Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, that he said, I will answer these questions tomorrow, and Wahi is not coming.
And he felt abandoned.
Yes, not abandoned.
I mean,
he was actually quite.
For the lack of words in
yes,
English, I use that word.
Okay, so it went on and on, and they kept on mocking.
Yes.
They would come and ask question from one corner, sometime other corner. What is the answer of this question? You can well imagine what happens once the people go into new colleges and universities for the first time. The fools, what do you call that?
Fooling, I think. Yeah, fooling.
Yes,
happens.
fooling. What happens in colleges and universities?
Because they got, like, for them it was like the treasure. No? They said, okay, now we have got the answer.
Yes, and the reply came after 2 weeks. As a Jibreel alayhi salam, he came and he brought the entire Surah Mubarakah together. It was revealed in one session.
True.
So all the questions were answered, and this was how we can move forward from here.
Now, so because we have talked about now, so let's talk about now. I think we have got the historical aspect. Before we go into the symbolization or the usage and the current, what stories? Let's talk about the outline of. I think there are 4 or 5 stories.
Yes, very important to understand. There are basically 5 stories, and very interesting things. The center of these stories is the story of Satan.
Yes.
That comes in exactly center, and we have 2 stories in the beginning and 2 stories
in the end.
Towards the end. And another interesting factor about those stories, the first story and the second story, which is on one side of satanic story, and that satanic story is in just one ayah. In that case, these 2 are unknown people, anonymous people of cave, as well the person who had 2 gardens.
Yes.
So these stories are of anonymous people, whereas the other 2 stories, they are like elites.
Yeah,
they are very known people. First story, that is Hazrat Musa and Khizr's story. Very interesting, very intriguing. And if we are able to understand the deeper layers of this story, we can pass through all the challenges of our lives.
By the way, this takes me to one question. You just mentioned the whole, because the whole surah came down as a whole. It was not in part. Normally, the surahs will come in parts. So nobody had asked the question about Musa. Nobody had asked the questions about gardens. So why they have to be put in? And this Musa story could have been in Baqarah maybe, or any other surah. Why in this? Is there any relevance to that?
Yes. Before that, I will just complete.
Okay.
The last story is about Zulkarnain. So 2 stories with the names and 2 stories without names. So, and in the center there is satanic story. And as you asked the question about Hazrat Musa and Khizr's story, it was not asked. Neither this story was asked, nor about the garden, the man with 2 gardens. But interestingly, all these are so important and so relevant to our times that Allah has given all these. This is the perfect treasure which Allah has given us for passing through successfully and honorably through the end times. There are tribulations. So this story we will discuss about certain aspects, introductory aspects, not very, because every story would demand at least minimum 10 hours.
10 hours, exactly.
Minimum 10 hours.
That idea is that we'll just give you a food of thought, viewers, so that you can also understand, and you will have to delve probably deeper in your own knowledge. In fact, guide us, because I am a student of Quran.
I am also a student
of Quran. So so we are all learning.